really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard, which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Hello there, this is Seriously Speaking, and I'd like to welcome you to the show. Take off these glasses so I can see you better. And today I'm treating a topic which in some ways I'm kind of concerned and I'm kind of affected because I'm looking at the issue of, well, it started with the floods in Lagos in July. You wake up one morning, it's raining, and the rain sacks you from your home. I was one of those who suffered that thing in Lekki. Then in the next couple of weeks, it happened again somewhere in Yaba, Ebutemeta, submerged in water, floods, and Nigerians cried out, Lagos is in trouble. And there were all kinds of articles then, is Lagos sinking? But we're not talking necessarily about the floods alone on the show today. We're talking about the fact that the flood is just like the tip of the iceberg, it's what we see. What's at the bottom is much more than that. And I have with me an infrastructural development expert who's going to talk about how some of the mistakes that we made in the past is responsible for the challenges that we have today. At the end of the day, I'm hoping that it will put all of us in a better picture and government in position to know it's time to do what is right. I'll be right back on Seriously Speaking in a short while. Yes, welcome back. I'm trying to pull up what attracted me to my guests, why I invited him to come and talk about this. And it's not a government thing, it's not a private sector thing, it's a human thing. And there was an article he shared on LinkedIn on the 18th of July, which is titled, Is Lekki and Victoria Island Lagos Sinking? Of course, then, you know that Surulere and Yaba will join the bandwagon. It's my pleasure to invite on set today Mr. Olajide Dosunmu. Hi, it's nice to have you on the set.
Thank you very much.
Are you one of those who doesn't want to be called Mr. when you are a civil engineer? I should say engineer Olajide Dosunmu.
No, I'm very fine with Olajide Dosunmu.
Whether it's Mr. Engineer.
Whether it's Mr. Engineer.
But tell me though, I mean, once I read that piece, because the piece gave me some kind of eye-opener into what the problem in a place like Lagos really is. And which is the fact that, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I didn't read it right, is the fact that there's a master plan. Lagos should be drained in a particular way,
yes,
but the master plan is not really working out as it should.
Yes. Not exactly that the master plan is not working exactly as it should, but then I think we're a bit more reactive than proactive.
When you say we, Nigerian government, Nigerians, even in our private lives?
Yes, Nigerian government, even the populace itself, because the government on one side, then you have the developers and you have even private homeowners and the likes. So for me, it's first, there are master plans. I mean, master plans have been existing for Lagos State as far back as the 1930s.
I saw that.
Yes, and then you have companies that came in and did a holistic master plan for the entire region, especially for the mainland. But then for the island also, there had been upgrades, master plans done. But then it's as if developments go forth before then the government starts to implement some of these things in the master plan because of the large influx of population development within the Lagos itself. So that's one of the major challenges.
So they start the development before they think about the master plan?
No. Many times the master plan goes forth. Like right now, I know there's a master plan going on for Ekpe, Ikorodu axis, but many of such regions are yet to be fully inhabited. But then, when people start moving into such region, before they fully populate the entire region, some of these things ought to have been created. Like in the case of drainage, the waterways ought to have been created before you have a densely populated, a huge population moving in.
Let me go to, you gave an example of the Eco-Atlantic city, and it seemed like you were for it, that the plan is right. You know, everybody's worried that Eco-Atlantic city is going to mean that Victoria Island is going to be buried someday.
Oh, well, yeah, I have a contrary opinion to that. And if you look at the article, I talked about what happened at the Eco-Atlantic, where you have Eco-Atlantic City right now. There, as at 1999, the water, as the Atlantic Ocean itself, had gotten to the Ahmadu Bello, weight at that time, and most of all the properties adjoining that road and for the streets behind, Tiamil, Savage, Akandishola, were already threatened. Most property owners there were already scared for their investments. And then the reason why is because of the East and West Mall, which were put in
built
place.
Along Babbage.
Not Babbage. We call it, well, on the right side of Babbage, you have the huge stones where we call Takwa Bay. There are these huge set of stones on the left and on the right. They form the pathway for ships to come into the Lagos Harbor to berth within Apapa. And these were done in 1900, sometime around 1900. And this cut off the supply of sand coming in from Cotonou, Lomé, towards the Babbage. And that cutoff completely took out all the land mass that used to be in Babbage.
When we used to trek miles, like you remember, to get to,
exactly.
to see water.
Exactly. So if the Eco-Atlantic project had not been initiated, most of what we see as VI presently, either half of it, in the next 50 years, probably half or more than half of dry land will be gone.
Oh, so actually, feeling that sand is like pushing back the sea.
Feeling that sand is reclaiming the once lost land and protecting the inner city from erosion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that Babbage really wasn't that, it shouldn't have been that close. The water, the ocean shouldn't have been that close. No.
Originally, Babbage, from Ahmadu Bello Way, Babbage was about 3.5 kilometers. That's the shoreline itself was about 3.5 kilometers from the road. But now, almost all of that is gone. And that's because of that sand kept on disappearing because of those East and West Mall.
Okay, tell me about how these drains work. Because like I told you, I was affected because I live in a part of Lagos that is low, but we have canals, we have drains. Yeah. First thing that comes to your mind is, the drains are not cleared frequently, for example, right? Whether they work effectively, I'm not sure. So, but tell me how this thing works, how these drains work to drain a place.
Okay. Oh, well, actually, there's something called watershed. And the watershed is the amount of land area that actually drains into a particular waterway. Nature itself creates a waterway for itself to drain naturally. But then nature without us is maybe a huge landmass of greens, trees, in this case, sand. And then, but when we come in and we start doing our developments, you have concrete cover, you have steel cover. So the amount of water that will naturally go into the ground reduces. Most of it flows on the surface. So when that water now suddenly leads a wider space to pass through to a larger water body like the lagoon. So many times, what nature creates for itself is what we try to maintain or maybe increase it.
By doing canals.
Most of them are maybe originally existing rivers or waterways, but then we try to maintain it. But because of our development and activities around there, it might require that particular channel we need to have 5 times the width. These are things that are actually determined by engineering principles. And then, so were these things properly taken into perspective, consideration? So those are the challenges.